The thing I admire most about wolverines is how fast they can go and how they're always on the move. That they're patrolling their massive territory and that they're going over mountains and rocks. Apparently they can climb some ice. Then they eat some frozen bone they find somewhere and then they keep running.
Yeah, what's the little space back in there? Yeah, these are wolverine tracks.
First of all, I was fascinated by Mirjam and Mirjam's personality. She is strong from a number of points of view. She's a hard worker, she's brilliant at problem solving, and I also like to work with her. And what we are trying to do with Mirjam's project is, first of all, count wolverines, because the species has just been listed under the Species at Risk Act in 2018. So even counting them is a worthwhile objective. Our world nowadays, we risk that wilderness will be secluded to islands of wilderness. But what are we losing? Perhaps are we losing the connectivity of populations, and Wolverine, they will tell us that story.
They really, really need those big spaces. Once they find an area that gives them everything they need, they'll defend it. Having these massive territories is super dangerous. Like, sometimes they get killed in avalanches. What if they run 20 kilometers and don't find any food? Like, it's super risky as a life strategy. So I feel like the only way that evolution could force a wolverine to do this massive, it's not even a migration, it's like a daily run, is by making it just something they want to do, an urge, like they just must crave it. For me, going on a 10-kilometer run is fine and easy. Going for a 20-kilometer run is kind of hard, but going for a longer run gets really nice. I get every hour or so, you get your hormone releases, like your runner's high, and they can last for a long time. You don't realize that you've been running for 6 hours. It's pleasant for half of it. Not just pleasant, it's you can get euphoric about it. So these rewards are really strong in some people. And I bet that a wolverine must have a very strong urge to run.
My study area is really massive. It has parts of the Rocky Mountains in Banff-Yoakutni National Park, but the biggest part of it is in the Columbia Mountains, which are the Selkirks, the Monashis, parts of the Purcells, and the Caribous. Overall, we'll have about 150 bait sites spread out across 50,000 square kilometers.
Well, Mirjam put out an email a few years ago saying that she was looking to do wolverine research and was looking for people to partner with. And I thought, well, that sounds interesting, and we see wolverines, so let's give her a call. So we did, and we said that we would donate a certain amount of flying time. She was trying to grow the project bigger, and she got some more people on board, but some of them were hesitant to get involved. They were worried that her research would be used against them to say, well, there's wolverine in your area and you're messing with them, so stay out. We're trying to learn as much as we can about the wolverine in our area and see what we can do to make sure we're not having an impact on them. A wolverine is a very tenacious animal that's always on the move and always going, and so is Mirjam.
Probably makes sense to Frost, Smoke, and then
Aloha.
Aloha and Peggy. All right, good to go. Guess I'll go there.
There's so little information on what's going on as far as wolverine numbers and the impacts of trapping, logging, skiing, snowmobiling, logging roads.
Yeah, check it out here. Here looks like a nice wolverine track. You see a pattern of 3 by 3 by 3 by 3.
And that's usually the wolverine?
Yeah, that's always a wolverine, like this tree.
Nice.
Put that one on and see. That's, yeah, that will be roughly good.
Good.
Then let's just, I'll do a couple loops up the tree and then I'll do like 2 or 3 a little tunnel.
Okay.
So when they walk in, they leave hair. And
This is to snag hair.
Yeah.
Oh.
And somehow they don't seem to really mind. So the reason we use beaver is because they're pretty fatty, as you can see. That's all. Most of it is fat, and virtually every animal, including the flying squirrels, come and want to eat of it. It's like the best bait. It's oyster. So this is a little low. We drill through the bones, so they're usually not able to take those down. But sometimes, if it's close enough, they really chew. They chew off like they can crack like the whole skull.
Oh, wow.
And we just want them to come back again, again, and again, and again until we got enough photos of them. So it can basically stand on its hind legs, put its hands on the bar, and then we'll get really good photos.
1.80.
And so the beaver's about 3 meters up. Take one. Okay, so we got barbed wire, beaver, camera, other camera. I can clean up, and then I'll turn on both cameras and put up the lure.
Barb, Jesse here. We're ready for pickup here in 10 minutes.
Jesse, I copy that.
I've always been really bad. Like, I'm not sure, I got glasses when I was 9, and before that I couldn't see, literally. I failed all the tests, but I cheated my way through. I have all the signs of people who are face blind because I can't even recognize myself on a photo. Like, I have 2 sisters, and unless I know it's me, I'm not sure who of us it is. I don't really know how my mom looks. I often don't recognize John, my partner.
So I don't really know when Mirjam first told me about face blindness, because I think it kind of evolved from me doing a bad job of introducing people at parties and things like this, or who's this person, or that sort of stuff. And then I slowly realized that she can't recognize me whatsoever.
One thing that all of us that have face blindness say is people think we're arrogant or we're not very social because we'll come up and we don't recognize people that socially we're expected to recognize, classmates, office mates. So many people who are bad at recognizing faces also don't pay attention or can't process spatial information where they're going. So I get lost constantly. That's why you'll see me with my phone a lot, because now that I have a GPS with me at all times, it's great. I can find my car again. A lot of things are in flux. I'm not quite sure what's happening, where I am, who I'm talking to.
Mirjam has a characteristic which is that she's face blind. And I think that she's using this personality trait to be very creative. Sometimes I think she loses bearings, and then she explores and she finds new solutions.
I think the Wolverine project, it's a mammoth. It's huge to start with. There's no good way to approach it because everything needs to get done and everything should have got done already. And you kind of have to be able to take that and kind of carve off the little pieces you can actually deal with while shelving this big monster of, is this possible? Is this something that can actually be done?
The biggest rewards of this research are very simple for me. I love wildlife photos. So for me, looking through thousands and thousands and thousands of wolverine photos at a site and trying to recognize them and see what they do, that's just so much fun. I'm trying to recognize individual wolverines by their chest patterns and their sex when they spread their legs on the photos. And the cool thing is, it's not just wolverines who show up at bait sites.
An invasive method would be something where you capture an animal. Usually it means put a radio collar on their neck or implant a VHF thing into their belly. It's invasive, as it sounds like. You capture them, you drug them, you do things to them, and then you get data. But then there's also non-invasive methods. More and more people are using these techniques, photos, DNA, hair. So it's really something that a lot of people are actively working on so we can answer questions that in the past would have been impossible with this kind of data. Part of why I'm interested is because this is like the extreme case of an animal that gives us very little data. I want to help other scientists that are studying similar species, similar questions. Snow leopards, like tigers, we all have the same problems, like animals that are hard to study, there's not very many of them, and it's expensive. I find it kind of a little bit pointless to spend my whole life climbing and running and then like signing petitions online that please don't destroy the environment. Wolverine conservation is a very good way to show people the scale of our impact on the landscape, on an animal that actually uses the landscape in that way. They care if these big picture changes happen. You can't just make a little national park and say like, oh, this is your sanctuary now. You live here. Because they will go around, and if there's no one around, they won't live. The most important part about this research itself is to find out if we have a problem and how we can ensure that wolverines don't just disappear because we didn't bother to look.